Hello, Coach Ole, Todd Olson here. Was not going to create a video today. That was actually not my intention today. I am in process of trying to build a community focused on, the elements, discovery of longevity and what that can mean to each and every individual through my own discoveries. The reason I decided to create a video today is I had a friend, longtime friend that had, I think we originally met when we were in middle school, and he moved to the community that I had lived in since I was 5 years old. Really good friend all the way through high school. He's still a good friend. But my point is that we lost touch though. I can put the blame on myself. I can put the blame on a lot of things. We all like to lean in on the excuse that life gets so busy. And it does. And then, I guess if I ultimately just want to be transparent, not only to myself as well as to you that may encounter this video, I think, fell away from that relationship. His name is Scotty. And then I became, I think, fearful of what he would think if I tried to re-engage. What would he think if I was presenting the excuses of I was so busy? I coached youth sports for a long time. I worked just like a lot of us. I worked in a corporate setting for many years. So, and then I was also very involved with my family. Quite a blessing. Of course, I've been married to my wife for more than 26 years. We'll be coming up on 27 years. We have three beautiful young adults as children. Again, I can lean in on the excuses of I was so busy, and then I was afraid of what Scotty would think of me if I did reach out and present these excuses, and would he be accepting of me? And he called me this morning out of the blue, likely having some of the similar thoughts that I am. And it was a very impactful, very powerful statement, action on his part. It made me feel wonderful. And that's just what I want to share with you quickly today in this video is do not lose sight of the power of strong relationships that mean something to you. I'm gonna wrap into this message. Just I'll see how this really works. But I was listening to the app Calm the other evening, and they do have a whole section of bedtime stories. The author is Chris Advanson, and the story is Wonder, and it's narrated by Matthew McConaughey, who I would love to be able to share some some snippets, if you will, from that story. But there's no way I could replicate the soothing, calm, southerly voice of Matthew McConaughey when I have my still Minnesota accent trying to creep out here and there. So I'm going to save you from that, but it's a wonderful story of Zoe, who's I believe like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and she's having a tough time sleeping, and she hears some noises outside. The setting is they live on a lake, and the noises are her grandfather, who has a retro or old school telescope pointed to the sky on the dock, and Zoe climbs out of bed and pitter patters down and sits on the back porch on the bench swing, watching her grandfather, and her grandfather notices and joins her. And she describes how she has a lot of anxious thoughts about the future, and the grandfather, in Matthew McConaughey's voice, describes how much wonder there is happening in that moment. And the reason that the grandfather is out on the dock is that he's observing a meteor shower. And so he and Zoe observe the meteor shower for a few moments together, and then he describes all the wonder that is currently going on, including all the small things that are happening right there in the lake, around the lake, but also the wonderment of the universe. And so, without trying to replicate Matthew McConaughey, I will say, just a quick reminder that we're on this blue marble, if you will, together, that we all were blessed with a ticket to ride. It is the ultimate ticket, right? You can think about any of the exciting experiences out there, bungee jumping, you name it, paragliding, trips to far reaches of the earth, places where we would have thought were so exotic 10, 15 years ago, and now are becoming a lot more commonplace. Nonetheless, all very rewarding. Commercial space flight, yeah, great. Probably very rewarding. And I think innovation, striving for, more, striving for discovery, striving for what's out there in the universe, potentially putting colonies on Mars, all worthy things. I'm trying to dig into longevity and what that means. There are folks like Brian Johnson that are really trying to, push the envelope in that regards, and spending a lot of resources in that regards. And I'll talk about that in a later video. But for right now, I just want to remind you that all of that wonderment is a good thing. But if you're not remembering where your starting place is, i.e. gratitude for what is happening right now, it's really hard to achieve any far off destination if you don't know where your starting point is. Think about Google Maps. If you are trying to get to Yosemite National Park, and you are putting in a starting destination that is 100 miles from where you're at, how successful is Google Maps going to get you to Yosemite Park? Probably not very much. So I just want to remind you that don't forget the gratitude. Don't forget the small things. Don't forget that we all have a ticket to ride on this blue marble that is rotating on its axis at 1,000 miles an hour, that is rotating around our sun in our solar system at 67,000 miles per hour, and that our solar system, the sun and the planets that we get to call near home, so to speak, are all rotating around in the Milky Way at 514,000 miles per hour. That in itself is wonderment, and a reminder of the ticket that we were given when we were born into this world for the ultimate ride. And as part of that ultimate ride, the friendships, the connections, the meaningful, loving connections are so important. And I'm being transparent to you right now that it was for probably the last 4 or 5 years such a missing in my life, and I'm very determined to rekindle some of those meaningful relationships, because no matter what the protocols as far as taking care of your health, um, and I want to talk to you about that on this channel, but without those meaningful relationships, it really is hard to put a lot of meaning around any of the protocols. I want to leave you with that, but I also want to thank Scotty for reaching out today, and just letting him and all of you know how important that was and how much that meant to me. For now, I'm going to sign off. Coach Oli, live your longevity. Thank you.